Hello there, shortcuts. This is Stephen here, video one for this week. If you would like to be on the price list, hang around to the end of the video and I will explain everything as opposed to up front. I have one of, I think, John Coltrane's greatest records. I have a very rare Japanese first press that I've never had before. I also have, some mono Elvis and a Spanish press of flamenco guitar, which is one of the rarest presses in Spain. There you go. Tell you what, one of the things I'm going to start in the comments, for those of you who might like to, please let me know what your favorite record of the week is. All right, I'm going to get started with this. This is Ole by John Coltrane. Now, many of you will know that there are plenty of John Coltrane records that I do not get on with in any way. I just want to show you the label of this. Look at that. The beautiful green and blue Atlantic label. Record is in magnificent condition. This is a record that I've really only recently got to know, and part of it is because it was released on the Rhino High Fidelity range. Getting Rhino High Fidelities in Australia are just seriously expensive and seriously hard. I have got a few, but I also heard about it from Ivon, and you know who you are. This is a lovely, lovely record. It is, I suppose John Coltrane, born in North Carolina, forged in Philly, and probably immortalized in New York. And this is where he reshaped most modern jazz. And this I like because it feels more spiritual and more melodic and more grounded in the blues in ways that I enjoy. Like, I really like John Coltrane plays the blues. I really like Blue Train, and I really like Ole. And I wasn't expecting to, especially since the band here, I'm just going to read you a little bit of the wonderful notes on the back. The personnel: John Coltrane on soprano sax, George Lane on flute, Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, McCoy Tyner on piano, Reggie Workman on bass, Art Davis on bass, and Elvin Jones on drums. Now, Elvin Jones will come up again in this list, but I really like this. 1961. I suppose it sits on the cusp of the kind of post-bop era, but doesn't leap into that full modal trance. I don't know. I was about to say transcendental, but I don't think that word works for me. But this record is quite hypnotic, and I really, really like it. It's the first track, the first side is just the entire title track. And you know what? I think it is, worth the price of entry alone. I know a lot of people think My Favorite Things is better than this record. I don't know. I'm curious. I wonder whether some of you out there might know this record and might disapprove of my rating it so highly. In fact, making it the kickoff record this week. Now, this record I have had for a while, and it is supremely hard to find in affordable Japanese near mint presses. And I don't want anything other than, particularly with the Japanese, the vinyl has to be near mint. I'm a little bit more relaxed on the sleeves. And I like Obies, but I'm not obsessed with them. Whereas the vinyl I like to be good. This is a record you all probably know. This is the Japanese first press of Peter Gabriel's Soul. From, I suppose, Genesis proggy frontman to kind of world music architect, this is a key record. He's never been as successful commercially, and I would argue artistically, as he was on this record. It is, I think, a pretty clear pinnacle of pop music. It's really artful, it's really creative, but it's super accessible as well. I mean, obviously, he transformed video culture with some of the things that he did around this record with Sledgehammer, but it's also got Don't Give Up with Kate Bush. I I think, and I cannot think of a better duet. It is absolutely beautiful. A blockbuster with soul, and good on him. And that's a lovely copy with Obi and all the other business. Now, I mentioned some fuego, some flamenco guitar, and this is not, as you might imagine, a genre that I am particularly au fait. But the folks in Shinjuku wrote me quite a long note about this album. It is called, and you're just gonna have to forgive the pronunciation, Diferente by El Nino Miguel. Now, El Nino, this is the Spanish first press on the Philips label. Now, it's super heavy vinyl. The vinyl is quite nice. It's not. It's probably VG plus. It's not near mint. It's got a few little marks. But that's the label. So this was released in 1976, and this guy is regarded as one of the most mercurial guitar talents in the history of Spanish music. He didn't record very much, and this, I believe, is his most influential record. I played the first two tracks. It's really dynamic. It's kind of almost got this pulse that runs with this kind of Mediterranean, subterranean pulse. It's very percussive. I can tell that he's pretty heavy with his right hand. He drives a rhythm, which is quite something. I find it quite hypnotic now, and also a very warm sound. Not as trebly as I was expecting. I think this is one of the more cultish masterworks I've had in the history of Shortcuts. If any of you know more about this emotionally volatile guitar player, then please let me know, and stick it in the comments. Right, I have a US press now. I had to go and dig into this and make sure it was a first press, and it is. This record by London's Sade Abu is one of the ones that I know some of you have been looking for, because I've been getting requests. Can you find the Japanese press of Stronger Than Pride? I haven't found the Japanese press, but I have the next best thing, which is a US first press. This is all about restraint, space, echo, an emotionality that is really sleek and minimalist. I don't know where Stronger Than Pride sits in the Sade canon. I mean, there's a lot of people that love Deluxe, forgive the pun, and a lot of people who love Diamond Life. Diamond Life and Promises are the two that I find easier to pick up with really high quality Japanese vinyl. But Sade's Stronger Than Pride is harder to find. I suppose it's just tightly held. This is a lovely copy though, and so for Sade fans, this might well float your boat. I will say that I think side A is superior to side B, but again, I am happy for there to be a debate. What is not up for debate is what the rarest record in this week's Japanese list is. I suppose you could argue that Spanish flamenco record, or I could go with this. I can only find 2 or 3 recorded sales of this record. It is the Japanese first press of Younger Than Yesterday by the Byrds. Now, part of the reason that you know it's a first press, you see, after the kind of late 60s, the Japanese insert would come as a separate piece of paper material within the package. Prior to that, it would be the back sleeve. So you can see here that what you might think would be the typical Japanese insert is actually on the record. It's a really nice hard cardboard feel. Everything on the back is in Japanese, including the price down the bottom here of 1900 yen. The label is the classic orange CBS label. It has a few marks. It's probably a strong VG+. I played it earlier today. I had someone from Shortcuts from the club who was here while I was playing it. It is a huge sound. The only reason that I'm letting this go is I was lucky enough for the folks in Shinjuku to put 2 copies into the mix. The one that I've kept is the second press, which I think is a few years later. But I thought there might be someone out there who might love this record as much as I do. This is really the birth of, I suppose, country psychedelia, which is a genre that I really buy into, but all the way up to No Other by the mercurial Gene Clark. And this has lots of Crosby harmonies, lots of McGuinn's 12-string guitar, lots of Chris Hillman's writing. He's really coming into his own. You've got So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star with amazing fact, Hugh Masekela on trumpet. I think this record is great. Now, interestingly, I think the Byrds' place in, I suppose, the rock and roll ladder has fallen. You know, I think arguably Hendrix and Zeppelin and others have gone up. Beatles or Stones are still up there. But the Byrds, I think, have, again, forgive the pun, lost their wings a little bit. And I think that's harsh. There are some records that have a phenomenal amount of filler, and you might rightly say they're one of the great 60s singles bands. But I think this record works from start to finish and is well worth your ears. Okay, we mentioned Elton Jones earlier, the drummer on most, if not all of, I suppose, John Coltrane's more famous records. This is one that is not so famous, and in fact, it is called Very Rare. This is Elton Jones. Now, what's interesting, it's a white label, is that this record plays at 45 RPM, but it still feels like a full album. It doesn't feel like an EP. It's a 1979 session that he recorded in Tokyo, which I think is why, obviously, it's a Japan-only release. Lots of typically thunderous drumming from Elton Jones. I mean, he's a gun, and it's really interesting. And Elton Jones really came out of Coltrane's shadow. This is the second Elton Jones record I had. I had Heavy Sounds, and I had to go and find a copy for it myself because it's so good. I love the way he rides the cymbals. A really interesting record. This is Very Rare by Elton Jones. That's a Japan-only release, as is this. I'm going to actually take this one out of the sleeve. There's a couple of you who have picked up Volume 1 of this series, the Miles Davis Best Of, that was released in Japan. I'm trying to think, did I note down the year? I didn't. But this is a Japan-only double album. Look at the back sleeve that shines a real spotlight on the kind of 50s into early 60s prestige era of the mighty Miles Davis. Look at that for a gatefold. So what you've got here are tracks from 55, 56, 57. So really that golden era of, I suppose, his first golden quintet. So you'll have lots of Coltrane, lots of Art Blakey and others on this record. My Funny Valentine, Well You Needn't, Half Nelson, There's No Greater Love. It never entered my mind, When I Fall in Love. I could write a book. This is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And another, I'm feeling very fortunate because there were two of these put in the box, and so I have nabbed one for myself, and it comes complete with the inner, with a really nice photo of Miles. So maybe some of you have volume 1 and you want to complete, or some of you just love that golden era, and this is just a beautiful summary of that period. You can put any side on and it's really good. Lots of mono recordings on that record, which brings me to this. I mentioned at the start I got some mono Elvis Presley. This is Elvis Presley, the Sun Sessions. Sun era Elvis Presley with incredibly detailed listening notes at the back by, I'm not sure who wrote this, Roy Carr of the New Musical Express, the NME, co-author of The Beatles, an illustrated record. So this is ground zero, really, for rock and roll. This is Scotty Moore with his kind of slashing guitar, and Bill Black on slap bass, and the echo of being in that Sam Phillips Sun studio. The only way to listen to Elvis is in mono. So many of those great mono records were folded down into this horrible, absolutely abysmal sounding stereo mix that actually genuinely makes Elvis sound like he's been played underwater. It's terrible. You gotta have the mono, even though it's quite echoey. It's the only way. It's just basically rockabilly high voltage. All right, I'll whiz through the rest of these. I've got some really cool stuff that was still to come. The Japanese first press of Willie and the Poor Boys by Creedence Clearwater Revival. This was the record that was selected by Vinyl Me Please, the sadly and much missed Vinyl Me Please. This was selected as their pick for a Creedence record of the month. And I didn't really know it up until that pick. Now that I've heard it, I get why they chose it. You've got Down on the Corner, Fortunate Son. You've got some really trippy things about aliens and all sorts going on. Side of the Road is a deep cut that's got a great groove. I really like it. And I suppose those fantasy Japanese hard cardboard sleeves are well worth the price of entry. I always like when the Japanese obi blends into the sleeve, and this is one of the best examples. This is Notorious by Duran Duran, and that is the obi. You can maybe just see it blend into the sleeve. Super clever when they do that. This is kind of that Nile Rodgers driven kind of era of the, oh, what is that in there? That's kind of interesting. Oh, that's the purchase ticket from this, whoever bought this record. I will keep that in there for whoever grabs this. I really like the print that comes with this, the fingerprint. So that's Duran Duran. I have one other Miles Davis. I don't like to have too many records from one artist, but this is just lovely. This is that 50s era that compilation is driven from. This is Walkin', complete with OD, on mono, Prestige. Just fabulous, fabulous record. Cornerstone of hard bop, 1954. Actually, so no, it's before the compilation. The compilation from earlier is 55, 56, 57, I think, from memory. That's just 54. So my favorite cut on this is Blue and Boogie. Just lovely, lovely record. Okay, none of you will be too surprised to see me pick a Nancy Sinatra record. This is a Japanese hard cardboard compilation that includes These Boots Are Made for Walking, Some Velvet Morning, Something Stupid, Drummer Man, Sugar Town, Summer Wine, Lightning Girl, and all the lyrics, and this gatefold poster of Nancy herself on lovely Reprise Records. Yeah, you know how much I love Nancy, so I've got nothing to say against her. And I love these Japanese compilations. They do such a good job. Nancy Sinatra. All right, we've got 3 records to go. And I don't think I've had any of them before. Now, this is the second white label promo of the night. That's it there. This is the soundtrack by Jerry Fielding to the classic Sam Peckinpah Western, The Wild Bunch. This is the Japanese first press. This, William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, Warren Oates, just such a great movie, so phenomenally violent and bloody. But there you go. This is really quite a kind of a, as you might imagine from the movie, this is kind of tense and explosive in places. I'm just not a soundtrack guy, and I'm sure there's someone out there who will love that more than me. Okay, 2 more to go very quickly. This is a really nice Japanese repress on the London label of the Stones' Aftermath. Side 1, Mother's Little Helper, Stupid Girl, Lady Jane, Under My Thumb. Side 2 also includes Out of Time. So this is their Baroque kind of dark pop era. This is, marimbas and dulcimers. In fact, marimbas played by Brian Jones, of course. Dulcimer sitar played by Brian Jones, of course. Piano, organ, harpsichord, Jack Nietzsche and Ian Stewart. Just wonderful stuff. Great pictures on the back. The king jackets, the deep blues. I just think these Stones records are lovely. And this is I'm pretty sure this is the GXD press. Very consistent sounding, really nice. Again, that same person who I was playing the Byrds earlier also played some Stones, and it was really good. All right, now this I'm finishing with is one of my finds of the year so far. It is the only Sadao Watanabe record I own, and part of the reason is who he plays with. Sadao Watanabe, alto saxophone, Hank Jones on piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Tony Williams on drums. One of the great kind of rhythm sections of all time. So this has got a few standards, but it's so elegant. It's super cool. I love it. It's really, really nice. And I wondered if it was just me, so I did one of those searches on what's the best Sadao Watanabe record. And you know what? This one's right up there. There's a lot of people love it like me. A quite audiophile sounding record. My missus really likes this one as well. There you go. That's the end of the Japanese list. I have a UK list that I'm going to do tonight as well. As always, please leave a comment. Now, if you are new to Shortcuts, these records will be on sale. They will go on a price list. If you want to be on the price list, drop me an email at shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. Please leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what was your favorite record on the list tonight. And if you have anything you can fill me in on flamenco guitar, I'd love that too. Stephen here, shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. Thank you.